Hi, Chris here. In this video I want to talk about chocolate. I know that everyone appreciates chocolate and the way it makes you feel, and we're all attracted to chocolate. So I just thought I'd talk a bit about the history of chocolate and its medicinal value. A majority of people in the mainstream see chocolate as a candy bar, and a lot of the times you get told that you get told off for eating too much chocolate because it is a candy. Now, in the form of the way chocolate is distributed, majority it is candy because it's usually connected with a load of sugar, also dairy, milk, as well as other additives and sweeteners that they add to it, as well as rancid vegetable oils that is usually combined with it. So in this video I want to kind of talk a bit more about how powerful superfood cacao can be, and chocolate, if you can use it on a daily basis to actually improve your health, and not feel, let's say, guilty about eating it, because I know especially women that get cravings for chocolate, there are usually reasons why you have cravings for chocolate, and women in particular because they're very hormonal. And how that's the way the body is trying to communicate to you that you maybe need certain minerals and compounds within chocolate at certain periods of your hormonal cycle, let's say. So first we're just going to go into the history of chocolate. Now, all chocolate that we know of is it's all made from the cacao bean. They've tried to remove the cacao bean out of chocolate, and they're unable to do that because the flavour of the chocolate, they cannot replace the cacao bean, which is the source of the chocolate. It's also called cocoa bean. Now, cocoa is a British slang term for cacao because cacao originated in Central Americas and South America. So cacao bean itself, it's called a bean, but it can be also called a nut. It's a seed of a cacao fruit pod. Now, the fruit of the cacao pod is white flesh fruit, very sweet, and what they do is they remove the seeds of that pod and then dry that, sometimes ferment it as well, to ferment all the fruit off, and then they use those seeds to produce chocolate. So what makes up the cacao bean is what we use it as. We use the cacao powder, which is when the powder, it's kind of what's left once we remove the oil, the fat out of the cacao bean, which we call cacao oil or cacao butter. Now, cacao and cacao butter, very nurturing fat. It's got a combination of saturated fats as well as monounsaturated fat. It's deemed as a beauty oil, so you'll see it in a lot of cosmetic products along with a lot of other things that they put in it. And it's very beneficial for pregnant women to prevent stretch marks as well. And it can decrease your likelihood of getting stretch marks by placing cacao butter around that site. Now, the original use of cacao in Central America and South America was to use it in a bitter drink, like people do today with black coffee. So it was always what we kind of deem now when we go and buy a chocolate bar. You got dark chocolate and you got milk chocolate. Well, at this time there was nothing. There was no milk chocolate. It was just all dark chocolate. And they would mix it in a drink and drink it essentially like we do with black coffee, with no sweetener as well. So it was always used in a bitter form of medicine. And you might have heard of that. Medicine is bitter medicine because a lot of the medications we consume are all bitter compounds from alkaloids of plants. Now, cacao pharmacologically is very complex food or substance. It's been estimated to have 1,200 individual chemical constituents, so that's pretty amazing. and human use of cacao goes back 5,000 to estimation of 5,000 to 15,000 years ago. So it's been within the diets of some civilizations for a long period of time. Now the Mayans and the Aztec community, they used cacao as currency. So they actually had edible money. So they held it very high within their spirituality, and obviously they used it as currency. Now a conquistador, his name was Hernan Cortes, sailed to these areas of the globe, and in 1528 wrote, "The divine drink which builds up resistance and fights fatigue, a cup of this precious drink permits a man to walk for a whole day without food." What we do know about cacao now is that it is an appetite suppressant when you eat it in its raw form, and it's got many other medicinal properties which we'll talk about in a minute. Now the Europeans eventually combined cacao with refined sugar, as before that time in this Central Americas and South America they'd always consumed it in a bitter form. In 1828 the Dutch chemist Conrad Johannes van Houten manufactured a low-fat powdered chocolate, which essentially became cacao powder or cocoa powder. Now, the invention of milk chocolate came later and was due to Swiss chemist Henry Nestle and Swiss chocolate manufacturer Daniel Peter. Now, the book, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, if you've read the book, goes into great detail, not calling it cocoa powder or cocoa bean, they called it cacao bean, the original form, and goes into detail about the folklore of cacao. Now let's go into what chocolate, or what the cacao bean is composed of. Now, cacao bean is essentially, and chocolate is essentially deemed a magnesium supplement because it has an abundant supply of magnesium, and cacao is the primary source of magnesium compared to everything in the food kingdom. So magnesium is the most deficient major mineral we have in civilization today. So cacao is a great magnesium supplement to try and bring those levels up. In videos you would have seen me before talk about the ratio of magnesium and calcium being very important for health, and magnesium is essential for 300 enzymatic kind of catalysts and processes through the body. Very important, and it's very important for building strong bones as well. Other things that magnesium does is it supports heart health, it increases brain power, it causes a strong bowel movement, so it's a laxative effect. It relaxes menstrual cramping, so it's very important for a menstrual cycle for a woman. It relaxes muscles, increases flexibility, and therefore it's working on connective tissue. And it builds strong bones, and it increases alkalinity, because a lot of our health problems today is we're becoming too acidic. And a lot of the times we are told we need to consume calcium, but there are a lot of problems with abundance of calcium as well, not enough magnesium, because we need those ratios in the right balance. It also, decreasing levels of magnesium are likely the primary reason why women crave chocolate, before or during after a menstrual period. So that will be usually your body trying to communicate to you that, hey, I need chocolate because we need the minerals that are within chocolate, which is magnesium and iron. Because with women having blood loss, so therefore they're at high risk of becoming anemic, so they need iron. And because of the cramping and the muscle tightness, they need the relaxation properties of magnesium. Also, cacao also has hormonal balancing effects and has natural endorphins, so that's another reason why women crave chocolate during that time. Now, chocolate is one of the highest food sources for antioxidants, much higher than blueberries, red wine, and even higher than the goji berry, which is very high as well. And it's also a source of theobromine. Now, theobromine is kind of a relative of caffeine that we get in coffee. Coffee is high in caffeine, chocolate's high in theobromine. Now, theobromine gently stimulates the central nervous system, so therefore it boosts brain power. Now, it relaxes smooth muscle tissues, and remember, smooth muscle tissue is throughout the body. So all your arteries, your artery walls, and your vessels, blood vessels within the cardiovascular system, they are all smooth muscle tissue. So by relaxing the smooth muscle tissue, it's going to help heart health. It's going to help with decreasing high blood pressure. It's going to regulate blood. It's going to regulate rhythms of the heart and the rate of the heart, which is very important. Like, for example, somebody coming into hospital, they get a condition called atrial fibrillation, which is where the heart is just shaking like that. It can't get into sinus rhythm. Bump, 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 bump. We treat it initially with drugs, but if they don't work, the person will end up going to intensive care unit in an unstable condition, and they give them a magnesium sulfate infusion. So magnesium is essential for a number of things, and more importantly for the heart and keeping it within the right rhythm and the right rate. So chocolate will help with that. Also, it dilates its blood vessels, and the key to chocolate and magnesium dilating blood vessels is it's a great carrier when you add it with other medicinal and mineral substances, because it will drive those deeper into the body, so therefore it will be more effective. So using chocolate in a smoothie or an elixir and combining other herbs and other medicinal compounds is a great way of increasing their absorption. Now, theobromine is also has been used as a cough suppressant, mild diuretic, so reducing accumulation of fluid on the body, which can occur with heart failure. It's also a cardiac stimulant, therefore it's been treated to treat people with high blood pressure. And also theobromine in chocolate's been found to destroy bacteria within the mouth cavity that causes tooth decay. So eating it in its raw form, minus the sugar, will actually help with dental health. Now, another compound within chocolate is PEA, which is phenylethylamine, and that's been deemed the love chemical. So there is a connection between chocolate and Valentine's Day and feeling loved. It's actually scientifically been shown. So PEA creates a feeling of attraction, excitement and euphoria, which you all get when you fall in love. And it's been shown when we fall in love, PEA levels increase. So PEA is found in chocolate. Another chemical found within chocolate is anandamide, and that is called the bliss chemical, and that regulates mood. And this is one of the main key factors why they call chocolate a natural antidepressant, like a natural Prozac, because this particular chemical can help with stabilizing moods. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with chocolate is also high in iron, as I mentioned before. It's high in trace elements and minerals such as chromium, which is essential for blood sugar regulation. So a lot of people, diabetics, are low in this trace mineral. Also copper, which is a trace mineral, which is very important for blood building. Again, that's that connection with heart health. And also phosphorus, phosphorus is very important also with bone building as well. Because our bones are made out of what? Calcium phosphate, and phosphate is phosphorus. So there are many essential things that are found within chocolate which are essential for health. So chocolate in its right form, it's always the key. The majority of things out there today, especially when it comes to food, it's the form of food. Okay, so chocolate can be created into a candy, even though there's still been studies showing health benefits even in that form when it's been loaded with sugar. But you'll just increase those health benefits by eating it in its raw form, because by cooking it you destroy some of the minerals and some of these elements like PEA and the bliss chemical anandamide get destroyed with the cooking process. So if you want those compounds, you want to get that in the raw form of chocolate as much as possible, and also the antioxidants get damaged as well with the cooking process. So the best source of chocolate is getting it in its raw form. And if you get the cacao bean or the cacao nibs, which are the bean broken down, or the cacao powder in its raw form, you can go ahead and making your own chocolate. And we will do a future video with showing me making a raw chocolate and giving you a recipe in doing so, where you can add all sorts of substances to make it into a mineral supplement essentially. And you can't, it'll allow you to not feel deprived and not eating chocolate, because we should not feel guilty with eating chocolate. A lot of us feel guilty because we deem it as a candy bar, but in its right form we can enjoy chocolate without guilt and reap all the health benefits with it.